heard, the last estimate that I heard, we're sitting close to 300 season ticket holders in the Flock area.
In the Flock, okay.
Yeah.
And so would that be the east end of the stadium?
That is the east end, or the like Patterson end, is that, or no?
It is,
Patterson's the other
Brearley.
end. Brearley, yeah.
Brearley
so, yeah.
Street.
But yeah, so it's all standing with guardrail, drink rail, and so it really means that everyone can get close to each other, but you're also contained. As a Liverpool fan, that speaks to me. I'd much rather that than just a completely free terrace. But we've really seen from day one, or even from the preseason matches against UW and other teams, that we've got a section that is going to stand and cheer the whole game. And being able to be close to your fellow Flockers, that's really, I think, helped amplify that feeling.
See, this is my first year with True North Elite, and I had a difficult time embracing the closeness. I'm not a big closeness guy.
So I'm sorry, we are also having trouble embracing the closeness because we're used to having a lot more room than that. So for us, it's a learning experience as well. So
Sorry, my flag needs room, so I make room.
So, and speaking of flags, how many do you guys embrace flags?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like flags,
Yeah.
Everything from 2 poles to some larger flags. Not quite on the level of a 10x10 yet. We have a couple flags that are nearing that boundary, but yeah, we fully embrace flags. We fully embrace the 2 poles. We understand that that is a big part of supporter culture. It's a massive way that people can see it, but also the club can see it, the team can see it from the field and see that we're behind them every step of the way. We view it as vital.
How would you describe a typical game day from start to finish? Like, I know you guys are probably starting soon in some of your pre-game festivities, tailgating.
Yeah, I want to say it's maybe about 2 hours from now that we'll be starting our pre-game activities, where we have it rotates around from one of several partner bars, but we'll go to a partner bar. So I think today is Avenue Club. We'll start there, and we have a deal with them where for every beer purchased of a select variety, we'll get, usually it's $1 from each beer donated to a select cause for the month. This month it's G-Safe, I want to say. So this month, every beer bought goes to a donation to G-Safe, and so we make sure we show our support that way. We also do 50-50 fundraisers that way. And then at an hour before kickoff, we gather up outside and we have a march to the stadium and we sing the whole way. We have drums blaring, our horns when we have people in town for that. David Rosenfield, I believe is the last name. I hope I didn't say it wrong. Yeah, with the trombone
guy.
Yeah, I remember meeting him.
He's a good old Indy 11 supporter who made the trip down.
And I love it when he's here. So shout outs to David. Thanks for being part of that. But yeah, so we'll march to the stadium and we get loud. We get lots of people recognizing us on our march to the stadium, and then we sing our way through warm-ups for the players, and we basically don't stop until final whistle. And even then, we're going to have another solid 10 minutes where routinely the players come up and shake hands with everyone in the end. I think they're if you listen to like Connor Tobin and others who've been interviewed, you see that they're really appreciative of that wall of sound that we can provide, and ultimately, like I think we can get louder. I want it ultimately to be to the point where we'll start getting the main stand involved, and so that will be a field just wrapped in sound instead of coming from the Flock end.
Right. That's a good point, yeah, and I think that at least pretty much every match has been relatively close to capacity, if not sold out.
Yeah.
What is it, 4,400?
We have an average of just over 4,000 every match. Our capacity generally sits around like 4,900, and it's a point of pride for us. We're leading our league. We're competing with the attendance of the league above us in USL Championship, and it's something that I don't see stopping anytime soon. It's a wave, and it's a wave that everybody in Madison is starting to kind of catch on to. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast it's happening. I mean, the first year of existence, it's just you guys have hit the ground running, so to speak. I mean,
people were hungry for it. People have asked us all the time, like, how are you guys so dedicated and so committed to a club? Number one, so young, and number two, in Division III of American professional soccer. And I think it's just people see the value of it. People wanted it for a long time, and the club made the effort from day one to make sure that we understand this is our club. From the name to the logo to the colors to everything, they crowdsourced all of it, and they've continued that culture of crowdsourcing ideas, crowdsourcing atmosphere, crowdsourcing game day activities from its fans. And so despite the fact that we're a young club, the ideal scenario that we've kind of stepped our way into is that we all feel ownership over it.
Yeah, and just to tack onto that, I think that this really was, I will go ahead and say a soccer-starved town that, like, we had clubs like the 56ers, but you had this just general, like, there's a really strong Liverpool group, a really strong Arsenal group, and others as well, like Chelsea and Manchester United. There's lots of really strong EPL support and people who just feel soccer and want it. And there's lots of birds flying in here, not just the loons and the flamingos. But no, really, when Peter Wilt came in and said, hey, we really want to build this team, and we built it ground up, and it's not, hey, here's this team and you're going to support it. It was like, how do you want to build a team? What do you identify with? And so the blue and the white really came out of like that civic pride and the flag. I think we have a really great city flag, and the lore of the flamingos on Bascom Hill played into it, and that really brought it in. So like everything has just been, what is Madison about? And then that's really driven. Yes, anyone, no matter if you're a soccer fan or not, can jump on the fact that that's clearly a team from my city, not just a city or a team that decided to play in my city.
So let's talk about the flamingo, because I grew up in Chippewa Falls.
Okay.
And flamingos were a pretty common occurrence in yards around Chippewa Falls, Eau Claire. But there's a bit of a special connection between the flamingo and Madison.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so,
you mentioned it very briefly. Let's talk about that.
So the plastic pink flamingo is the official city bird of Madison, Wisconsin. A lot of people don't realize that, but it's actually based out of a prank that some UW students pulled off back in the 70s, I believe it was, where they filled Bascom Hill, which is kind of like the main lawn area of our campus, with hundreds of, I think, numbering over 700, almost 1,000 plastic pink flamingos as a prank. Fast forward a few years down the line, and there was a vote for what should be the official city bird of Madison, Wisconsin, and people felt that the plastic pink flamingo kind of matched the vibrato, matched the lack of normalcy that you kind of find present in this city. I mean, you don't have to walk around Madison long to see that flamingos match the fact that we are not a normal city. We relish the fact of being out of the norm. I mean, Brady can attest to the fact of walking around downtown Madison today, seeing probably thousands of naked bike riders on what we have deemed National Bike Riding Day.
We missed that.
Here in Madison, Wisconsin.
We got caught in it once, and then we saw it again.
Yeah, so Madison is a flamboyant city. We are a city who likes to stand out in the crowd, and I think there's no better mascot for that than the pink flamingo.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that, because you're going back. When I, from an outsider's point of view, when I think of Madison, I think of that as a call it like a football town.
Yeah, right.
You've got the University of Wisconsin Madison right in town. I think the Badgers, college football hotbed, obviously. But that's why it's great to hear you guys talk about the roots of soccer, and they've been here.
Oh yeah,
Been here.
They've been here forever. I mean,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Forward Madison the first professional team in Madison?
Yes, we are the first professional soccer, fully professional soccer team here in Madison. I want to say we're actually the first fully professional team, period.
I was going to say,
I couldn't remember if the
Milwaukee
baseball
has-
team had been professional or not, because I know that there's a lot of early history in Bree Stevens with lots of teams brought in, but I don't remember if any of them are professional or not.
Well, I mean, even in general with soccer, obviously Madison has indoor, or I mean, Milwaukee has indoor.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
Milwaukee
I mean,
has a rich
overall,
history also, yeah.
The Flamingos are pretty much, as far as outdoor.
And especially to this level.
Yeah.
Especially to this level, there's never been anything quite to this capacity before. Granted, it is a new league, so we kind of got that go of it. But yeah, there's never been something to this capacity before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know living in Wisconsin all my life, like there's never been a really professional soccer team. Maybe the Wave, that's about it. It's the only one you can honestly think of. Like I know the Wave had a stint outdoor for a while, and now they're fully indoor.
So in terms of growing pains, I mean, you're, 8 games into the season?
Something close to that. I
Yeah.
forgot already, but
I mean, have you noticed
10 games in.
10 games in.
somewhere about that.
How many? I mean, have you noticed any growing pains in terms of the supporter section?
Nothing unexpected.
Nothing that we wouldn't, we've had mild difficulties with how do you lead such a wide section. I think in a lot of cases, like I'm originally from the Chicagoland area, and so like I grew up with Section 8 since I was 8. Like I was a season ticket holder after the first year, so. Yeah, but so it's steeper, right? And we only have maybe like 12-ish rows or something deep in our fourth section, so it really fills the whole end. So how do you lead that? We've been working through like the growing pains of like communicating between different capo stands to make sure we're all on the same page. But ultimately, I think we've taken that challenge and embraced it, and we really like. If you've ever, for any individuals who've watched us on ESPN Plus, I think we come through definitely much more clearly than any other club. That we're really providing the sound as a group. I think ultimately the growing pains have been expected and minimal.
Sure.
That's a good point. How about like expectations? When was the Flock formed? It obviously would have been late last year, early this year. From that point on, what did you expect on day one, and where are you now?
I don't know if we really developed that many expectations based on the fact that none of us have ever built something like this from the ground up. Outside of quite a few of us being involved in EPL support groups here in town that meet on Saturday mornings, we've never gotten to rally around a club of our own. So I can't really speak to many expectations other than just we wanted it to be done, and we wanted it to be done well. And we wanted to make a lot of friends along the way. The president of the Flock, he always jokes about, his goal for this is not because he wanted to make a group for himself. He just saw something that needed to happen, and he felt like he was the person who could step in and make it happen and make a lot of friends along the way. And he even jokes like, I'm going to make more friends than all of you guys. And that's his goal, other than making this thing run well, he wants to make sure that this thing is running well. And I think that's something we all kind of echo. We want to rally around a team together, see a community form, and then in turn build the community and help and benefit the community from that. Other expectations, I don't know if we have anything other than just that.
Yeah, I guess I'll provide my take on it. So, best I know, sometime early spring of 18, right? Early spring of 18, I think Peter first reached out and started talking to some of like the heads of the EPL supporter groups, and so Liam and Andrew really hopped into that, and they started driving that. And so I went to the announcement for the team in whatever month that was, if it was June or July, or maybe it was May. Yeah, so I was there for that, but then I finally got actually tied into it sometime in like the late fall, and I felt like, okay, we've got a group of people who's very interested and eager in making this a real thing, and I can pour some passion into that as well, and we have good people around it. And then all along the way, we keep pulling in more and more people who are excited and dedicated. I'll give shout-outs to Kyle Carr and April Kiega. Gosh, I hope I didn't say that name wrong. I've never said it before. And then Chris Fox as well. And Omar Palacios. We just keep picking up more and more people who have this passion and they want to pour that energy into it. And I don't even know how anyone else in this group comes up with all this. And so I know there was a